Hi, I'm Colleen Pearl, the Cool Crone, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about the full moon in Pisces on September 20th. The full moon will take place on September 20th at 7:54 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. You can Google and figure out the time change for your time zone. The full moon is a time for us usually to ask for things, to increase, to add something new to our plate. But this full moon is in Pisces. It's a watery moon, it's a romantic moon, it's a sentimental moon. Some people think it's a sappy moon, but it's a moon where you need to deal with Pisces things. Pisces is very spiritual, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. The Pisces-Virgo axis is very important to this new moon. Virgo is what allows you to look at the details of things. It allows you to note the fine points, the grid, the meticulousness of something. Pisces has to do with you, your beliefs, yourself as a whole, the universe as a whole. So during this new moon, you must look at the details. You have to go within, talk to your higher self, talk to your angels and guides, and ask yourself, what do I need in my life? What do I need to be doing in my life? What do I want to be doing in my life that I'm not doing now, but I really need to do? And what's holding me back from that? What is it that I believe or that somebody has told me that is preventing me from having what I really want, from doing what I really want? You know, the Wiccans have a saying, "And it harm none, do what thou wilt." And this means that you can do whatever you want in your life. You can live your life however you want to live it. Just don't hurt anybody, least of all yourself. Because if there's something going on in your life that you're doing just because somebody told you to do it and it hurts you in some way, you got to stop that. You got to let that go. And that's what this Pisces moon is all about. Pisces is also about sacrifice. So what you're going to sacrifice is actually something that's no good for you. You're going to let that go. Be that sacrifice. And then you'll be able to add into your life something beautiful that you really, really want. That's what this full moon is really about. I want you to think back to the new moon in Virgo that we just had. That is when you began your perfection. That is when you began your quest to become the perfect you. Now, in the light of this full moon in Pisces, you are able to have the illumination of the sun showing you how far you've come. It's a beautiful thing, astrology. It teaches you lessons, it gives you rewards, but it also lets you see what your progress is, so that as you love yourself, you can continually upgrade and update that image and love you have for yourself, because you are a growing human being. It's a beautiful thing. All right. Now, on this full moon, which is in Pisces, we have to keep in mind that Pisces is feminine, it's cold, it's water, it's mutable, and it's ruled by Neptune. So, things are going to be a little changeable and crazy and watery on this full moon. People who have moon in Pisces are very sensitive, they're intuitive, they're very social, they're secretive, and they're changeable. So while the moon is in Pisces, you may be all those things too. The full moon is a time of culmination. It's the yin and the yang energy standing across the sky from each other. It forces you to deal with unresolved issues in your life. It shines a light on the darkness. And it's a time to let go of negative patterns and toxic thoughts. It's a time to release wasted emotions, and I say this every month. The wasted emotions are guilt, fear, jealousy, and disappointment. You don't need any of that in your life. And the sooner you learn to get rid of that, the happier you'll be. Now, this is a chart for the full moon. As you can see, Moon and Neptune are conjunct here in Pisces. They're about 5 degrees away, 4 degrees away. That's good enough for a conjunction. And then we have Mars and the Sun, also about 4 or 5 degrees away from each other. And they're standing right across from each other. So this is the primary impact on this full moon that everybody will be feeling. The Mars conjunct Sun and Neptune conjunct the Moon. So Neptune conjunct the Moon. This means that emotions, especially on the full moon, the couple of days of the full moon, will be extreme. And there's going to be water. There's going to be tears. There's going to be spills. There's going to be floods. There's going to be overflows. There's just going to be water. Just a lot of water. And I know I've been saying that for months, but we have had a lot of water events, you must admit. Hurricanes, flooding, mudslides, monsoons. I mean, you name it, we've had it. And we, looking at it from a more personal side, we will all be very susceptible to manipulation by others. But also, you have to realize this. It's not enough just to realize that the person might be manipulative. If you're lucky, you know, maybe. But what's happening here is that when Neptune and the Moon are conjunct, we need to believe this person who is manipulating us. So when they're selling us this snake oil, we have a need to believe in the snake oil, or the theory of life, or the, you know, secret to the universe. We have a need to believe that. That's why we're so susceptible. It's not just that we're not recognizing that this person is a snake oil salesman. It's that we need to believe them. So that's the difficulty there. In order to avoid that, focus on spiritual matters during this full moon. Like I said at the very beginning, this full moon is about figuring out what is blocking you from having the success you need in life and eliminating it, sacrificing it, letting it go. So that's excellent energy, and Neptune can really help with that, because Neptune is all about the spirituality, all about the universe. Now, the Sun is in Virgo, but it's in very, very late degrees of Virgo, and Mars is in the very, very early degrees of Libra. So usually you don't have a conjunction where the signs are out of sync. You don't have a transit, really, or an aspect, excuse me, really, where the planets are out of element, out of sign. So stuff, don't worry about it. Mars conjunct Sun is a great time to start a new solo project. It's a great time to do something that emphasizes you, numero uno, right? It gives you confidence and courage. It gives you energy. It gives you focus. It gives you motivation to go forward with things. So that's really, really a good aspect to use. You also will have good discernment during this period. So on this full moon, you will have a good way to discern what is it that I really want to do and what's blocking me, because that's the thing that a lot of times people can't figure out. They know what they want, but they can't figure out why they can't get there. The other thing that I'm going to say about this, because it's involving Mars, is be careful of accidents. Mars does cause accidents, and it's going to be in opposition to the moon. Another thing that might happen while Mars is in a bad aspect, is in a difficult aspect, is it can bring out infections, fevers, and inflammation. So be careful of that as well. Don't take any unnecessary risks with your body, but start a new solo project, and definitely dig into your own spirituality and see if you and your higher self and guides and angels can figure out what it is that you need to sacrifice in order to go forward with this full moon. Now let's take a look at the signs and how this full moon will affect each of you. And we're going to start with Pisces. Pisces, this is your full moon. So you have a full moon with Neptune there in your first house. So you're just going to be as fishy as possible. You're going to be your fishiest self. You're going to have all the spirituality stuff coming out for you. You're going to have all the emotional stuff coming out for you. And this is really a great time for you to just turn up the spirituality to 10 and get in there and understand what's going on with you, with yourself, with your higher self, with your spirituality. The Sun and Mars is going to be in your 7th house. So you may have a confrontation with your partner, but you also may be trying to do something by yourself and your partner wants to do it with you. That's okay. The Sun and Mars is in your 7th house, and so that energy could open up to your partner on whatever this project is that you want to do. So make them your partner in this project, or whatever it is that you're trying to do by yourself. Just make sure that you're not doing anything that's dangerous, like with sharp objects, and that you could cut yourself, because that's also Mars. And make sure that you don't expose yourself to any illnesses that would cause inflammation, fevers, or infections. The big push of these planets being in your 1st and 7th houses is that this is a landmark full moon for you, because it happens in your 1st house. And if you're Pisces rising, then you've got Neptune hovering in your 1st house like for years, for like the last 10 years or so. And you've got the moon there with Neptune by transit. So it's really going to make you feel very deeply about what's happening during this full moon. So on that note, be a little bit careful if you do have some confrontations with your partner, that you're not overly sensitive to things that they may say or actions that they may take during this full moon. They're not trying to hurt you. You may be overly sensitive, so just be aware of that, Pisces. All right. Cancer. So Cancer, you have the moon in your 9th house and the sun in your 3rd house. So for you, this full moon is going to be about communications with others and communications with yourself. You have the Sun and Mars in your 3rd house with communications. So you may be dreaming up some big scheme for a new podcast, a new blog, a new newsletter, a new kind of communication tool that you're going to do by yourself. And your goal, your business or whatever, may be working on something that is more for the masses, that, you know, out over the internet to, you know, thousands and thousands, maybe millions of people, but you may be trying to do something that's just really focused on you. Well, I gotta tell you, on this full moon, you're gonna want to try to kind of do both. You're going to want to work on the communication thing that's all on your own, in your own message, and then you're going to want to put it out there to everybody. And again, think about the sacrifice that you might be having to make or being asked to make in order for you to succeed in your business, in your communications, in your vlog, in your channel, in your website, in your whatever that you're putting out there. And since almost everybody has businesses that go out over the internet, that's why I mention this all the time, because everybody's communications that are going over cyberspace is important. And this full moon is putting a big spotlight on it. Be really single-minded in this. And your project may be reaching out to other people, but the idea of the project, the structure of the project, the bones of it is all you. So go ahead and grab that, own that, and know that putting it out there over the internet is going to be a big deal. It's probably going to be pretty successful. All right, let's move on to Scorpio. Scorpio, you've got the moon in the 5th house and the sun in the 11th house. So this is going to focus on children in the 5th house, and fun and things that you consider really, really fun. So this is a fun moon for you. You probably get this every year, and you've had Neptune there in that 5th house for years. So you're probably used to that by now. And I'm guessing that your idea of a good time, Scorpio, has something to do with water. Just going to say that over the years, you've probably morphed whatever fun things that you do having to do with water or even fish. The moon and Neptune there is just going to make you go over the top. You're just going to feel like, you know, I've got to get all the fish in the world. So either you're going out on the ocean or a lake or having fish tanks, or maybe your business has a lot to do with water. I'm thinking of a fellow that owns a car wash, which is a lot of water, putting cars to the car wash. But you walk through the building to pay your bill, and then you walk out of the building and get your car at the end. And in the building, he has the most beautiful fish tanks ever. Just tons. I mean, it's got to cost him a fortune keeping them up. And even outside, he has a little fish pond. So I'm guessing for him, he's got Pisces stuff going all over the place. And the Sun and Mars is in your 11th house, and that's also groups and fun, but more on a higher scale, on a more like giving back to the world scale. So I'm thinking that you have a project in mind that you want to be doing that will benefit one of the groups that you're a part of. That's it's very important to you that you get this project off the ground on your own. But the fun aspect on the full moon for you is going to be something to do with kids and water, or going to a water park or something like that. So I don't think that's a different thing for you, Scorpio, because it's so water oriented. So enjoy this full moon, Scorpio. You are intuitive enough to be able to pull out of yourself what it is that you need in your life, and to also be self-aware enough to ask, what is holding me back from getting that? And then going and eliminating it so you can get what you want. So Scorpio, I don't think that you have to worry as much on this full moon about finding out all those answers. And also, you've got the 8th house is Gemini, and that's where the North Node and Black Moon Lilith and Mercury are going to be. So you are looking very much at the essence of your being. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing in this lifetime? What are my hidden talents? And that aspect is actually squaring this moon in a sensitive way for you. So I think this full moon is going to be interesting for you. You may be off having just a great day, really, really fun, and then kind of turn around and be like, oh my God, I just realized what my whole purpose is, or something. It's going to come to you in kind of an unexpected moment. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's move on to the fire signs. So Aries, you've got the moon in the 12th house with Neptune and the sun in the 6th house with Mars. So there's going to be action going on in your work life. You're going to be having a project that you have to do all on your own. It could be your own idea, but you're going to be very happy to be doing it on your own. And I think that you're going to prefer to do it on your own. So if there's a choice, if you have to speak up and make it known, which I know you're able to do, but just to remind you that you should speak up and say that this project needs to be handled by one person for whatever reason. In the 12th house, you've got the moon and Neptune, and that means that your dreams are gonna be crazy. You're gonna have stuff bubbling up from the subconscious like nobody's business, from the full moon through the whole 2 weeks up to the next new moon. You're just going to have tons of intuitive flashes and dreams and messages, and you're going to be getting lots and lots of intuitive messages. Now, this is a great time though for you to really do that full moon work, really go within, ask what it is that you have that you need to give up in order to get that next level in your life. Delve into the hidden aspects of your world, of your soul. Ask your higher self, ask your angels, ask your guides, and you will get answers, Aries. You'll get big time answers. Now let's go on to Leo. Leo, you have the moon and Neptune in your 8th house. Wonderful placement to have it. And you've got the sun and Mars in your 2nd house. So this is going to have to do with your resources and the resources of you and your partner. With the sun and Mars in your 2nd house, this means that you're going to be taking up some kind of a project solo. You're going to be trying to do something by yourself that may be bringing in a new income stream, or it may be taking a project, a side project from your business or your work where you are really handling things alone and you're showing off. You're showing how competent you are, how completely skilled and expert you are in this area. And the moon up here in the 8th house with Neptune shows that there are certain things that are coming to light about your partners and your resources that need to be dealt with. So it could be that you're questioning if the resources have been set up in the right way. For instance, if you have investments like trusts or mutual funds or stocks or something like that, have you set up everything in the right way? Maybe you need to adjust things. Also, Black Moon Lilith and the North Node are going to be here in your 11th house, and so there could be somebody that you meet through one of your organizations, one of the networking organizations you're a part of, or just a social club that you're a part of, who has really good information or connections with somebody who could point you in the right direction for this. And when you're looking at things to let go of, this is the 8th house, Leo. This is all about the dark and the secretive and the taboo and the what's behind the curtain. So this is a great new moon for you, and you do need to do some inner work. Ask your guides and angels and your higher self, what is it that I need to let go of? What do I need to sacrifice on this full moon in order to go to the next level and have what I need in my life? So really great full moon for you, Leo, and good luck with all of that. Then for Sagittarius, we have the moon in your 4th house with Neptune and the sun in your 9th house with Neptune. And this means that the moon is going to be focusing along with Neptune on your home. So you've got the moon and Neptune here. Look for probably some changes to the people that are in your home. Changes, maybe you've got more people coming to your home, maybe somebody's leaving your home, maybe you're making changes to the home. But the moon is not so much like building and remodeling and things, although it could be that. And if you do remodeling, you might be going with a more aquatic theme with Neptune in Pisces there and the moon in Pisces when you make these decisions. Or you could be adding a swimming pool, or you could be moving to a place where you have a lake access or beach access or something like that. But the full moon in Pisces here in your 4th house means that you want to be looking at the foundations of your life. You want to be going within and searching your soul for, am I really living my life the way I need to live my life, the way I'm meant to live my life? Is this what's really going to bring me happiness in the long run? And then if not, then what do I need to let go of? What do I need to sacrifice in order to get that happening? So that's something that you need to look at during this full moon, Sagittarius. And the sun with Mars is going to be in your 10th house, focusing on your career and the public. And this means that you're going to be taking on some kind of a role that really puts you front and center by yourself, not with partners, not with anybody around you, but just solo. You're going to have great confidence and strength about that, and that could lead to accolades, that could lead to promotions, that could lead to a new job, that could lead to starting a new business, that could lead to a lot of things. But at any rate, you're going to be doing something by yourself that really has you shining out in the public domain. So be ready for that. And don't forget to put fish decals on your windows at home, because Neptune, All right, now let's go on to the earth signs. All right, Taurus, you have the sun and Mars in your 5th house and the moon and Neptune in your 11th house. This means that the full moon is really happening in your 11th house. So this has to do with groups, friends, hopes, and wishes, your desires, your goals for the latter part of your life. And with the moon and Neptune here, I'm guessing that you're giving a lot. You're a part of some kind of a group that gives back, that helps people, some sort of charitable or religious organization you would be a part of, where you're really giving, giving, giving. And that makes you feel good. It makes you feel productive. It makes you feel like this is what I'm here for. But know that you can still do the full moon work and look at your life, look at what it is that you really want to achieve, and ask yourself, your higher self, your angels, your guides, what am I doing that is holding me back from really getting what I want? Because this could help take you to another level. You do have to be aware that Black Moon Lilith and the North Node are hovering in your second house right now. So that is having an impact on your beliefs about money. Not just your income stream, but what do you believe about yourself? How do you value yourself? And that's squaring both of these sets of planets. So you're questioning, have I been doing the right things? Is this really the way I'm meant to live my life? Probably, yeah. I mean, you're Taurus, you're like a down-to-earth, salt of the earth kind of person. But you could do more even. And if your desire is to give back to people, then you want that ball, that nest egg, that ball of money to be as big as possible so that you can give back as big as possible. Now, as far as the Sun and Mars goes, that's in your fifth house for fun and projects that are creative. So you're going to be taking on some sort of a creative project or planning something to really have a lot of fun by yourself. So you could be planning a sabbatical, you could be planning a vacation, you could be planning a tour, something that you do by yourself, or it could be a big creative project, an artistic project of some kind. It could have to do with investments. Very often investments show up in the fifth house as well. So there could be some sort of an instrument that you're creating, creating by yourself. The point is that Mars and the Sun in this conjunct position indicate that the work will be done solo. And that's what I really want to get across to you, Taurus. So good luck with all of that. And let's move on to Virgo. Okay, Virgo, so this full moon is impacting your first and seventh houses. So you have the Sun and Mars in your first house. So you're feeling very capable and very independent at the moment. And you want to take on things that are just you, just independent without your partner. However, you've got the Moon and Neptune in the seventh house, which is your partner, indicates your partner. So your partner could, one of two things could be going on with the partner. You could be feeling like they're really leaning on you, like they're very needy, like they really want you to help them all the time and they really want to lean on you all the time. Or they could be your source of inspiration, and you could be seeing that your partner in this instance could be inspirational and could really help you in that way in this project that you want to do by yourself. So it's one of two things there with that going on, Virgo. Nevertheless, I want you to do the full moon work. I want you to ask yourself, what do I want to be doing in my life, or what do I want to have in my life that I don't have? And what am I doing to block that from being in my life, and sacrifice that thing that is blocking you? So you've got some work to do there, Virgo, but you've also got a nice situation there with the first and seventh houses with this full moon, and it's really working on your Virgo Pisces axis. And I know for you, if you've got Virgo rising, you've probably got somebody with Pisces in your life hanging around. So this full moon is going to really impact the two of you tremendously, probably for the positive. It looks like most of the aspects are positive. So enjoy this, but do the work. Don't forget to do the work. And now let's move on to Capricorn. Capricorn, you've got the actual moon and Neptune in your 3rd house, and the sun and Mars is in your 9th house. So this is focusing on communications in a big way for you, Capricorn. The moon and Neptune in your 3rd house means that you are going to be really, really compelled to communicate with everybody. You're going to be talking to your brothers and sisters. You're going to be talking to people in your neighborhood. You're going to be talking to people that you see every day, picking up a newspaper before work or getting that cup of coffee. You're also going to be focusing a great deal on putting messages out in the world that are clearly coming from you. Your personal message going out to the world either over the internet or, I mean, what else is there? What am I talking about? It's going out over the internet. It's, let me take that back. It could be an email out to the company. It could be a letter. It could be something that maybe you send an email to your whole family, but there's a message there that's coming just from you. That's the Mars Sun aspect, that it's solo, that it's just you. It's focusing on you. And what you're bringing out to them is possibly something about the very personal, the very spiritual message that you're giving out to everybody else from the 3rd house aspect, the moon and Neptune. So you still want to do that full moon work. You still want to ask yourself, what do I want in my life? What am I doing to stop that from happening in my life? And can I sacrifice that and get rid of that so that I can go up to that next level and have that in my life? So a little bit of homework there for you, Capricorn. But I think you can do it. And I love the 9th house solo work with the Mars and Sun there for you in an earth sign in Virgo, because I can just see you really reveling in that declaration that you make as a person. And whatever you're representing, you could be representing your brand, your company, you could just be representing yourself, you could be trying to publish something you're putting out in the world that's going to be just you. That's kind of exciting, Capricorn. All right, so now let's get to the air signs. So the first air sign up we have is Gemini. Gemini, you have the Sun and Mars in your 4th house and Neptune and Pisces in your 10th house. So this is going to focus on your home and your career. So for the moon and Neptune, let's take that first. You're going to be very emotional where it comes to your career, but also you're going to be getting inspiration and insights and almost spiritual feeling about what you're putting out into the world, Gemini. So all those ideas that you have gathered all along, and I know that's just your way of dealing in life, the way you march through life is you gather bits of information everywhere that you go, and this information is what's going to make you feel like, and your destiny is to give out all of that information. So make sure you do that full moon work. Make sure that you're really figuring out what you are going to become the town crier for, because that's what it kind of looks like you're going to be doing. It's spiritual, it's under the surface. You got to dig deep and figure out what you need to sacrifice. Go back to the beginning of the video and watch the part about the full moon work that you need to do. Now, Sun and Mars in the 4th house. So you definitely are taking on some kind of a project having to do with your home, the real estate of your home, and it could also indicate people in your home. And in your case, Gemini, I'm going to say that this could mean that you're getting one new person in your household, or one person is leaving your household, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be one new person coming into your household. And this would probably be like a new baby or a relative coming to live with you and join your family. So it's a very positive, uplifting aspect for you during this full moon. And also, you are going to be feeling like you have to do something to the home to make this person feel welcome. So either you need to decorate a room or add on a new room or change the configuration of a room, get new furniture or something. You're going to have to be changing something in your house in order to accommodate this person, but it's your project. It's your solo project that you're taking on all by yourself, and you're really proud of it. And don't forget to do that full moon work. That's really important. And then we come to Libra. Libra, the moon is in your 6th house with Neptune, and the sun is in your 12th house with Mars. So let's talk about the moon first. The moon with Neptune is affecting your work life. So in your work life, you're going to be inspired. You're going to find people around you that are inspiring. You're going to find inspiration there. And even if you're in the healthcare field, you're going to find that this full moon is absolutely inspirational. It's making you feel like, yes, you can. And maybe this is the breath of fresh air and the second wind that you need if you've been helping nurse people with COVID. I know that's been a long time you've been doing that, but it does mean that there could be quite a few changes in your work life. There could be possibly a new job, but I'm more leaning towards people, that there's a change in people, and that the people who come in are really great healers, that they just have a lot of experience. They're very natural in their ways of healing, and that you really gravitate to these people. You really like these people a lot. So that's a really good sign for you for this full moon. And with the sun and Mars in your 12th house, you're going to be really looking at dreams that you have at your subconscious. You may be making a stand of some kind and stating that I'm going to start a project where I document my dreams, or I document things for people. It's Virgo, so you're gonna write things down. You're gonna do little detail work. You could also be putting your energies towards a project that have to do with people who are in hospitals or ashrams or locked away in some kind of institution. You could be working with that a lot. You could also be working with meditation and things having to do with the subconscious. You could be working with people who have mental illnesses. You could be working in studies where you study people who have psychic abilities. So there's a lot of things with this full moon that could be coming to light, and this new project that you're working on will definitely have to do with you stepping out solo and doing some kind of a job or project by yourself that has to do with those 12th house things that I just mentioned. So Libra, make sure that you do the full moon work that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Make sure that you really appreciate the gifts that work brings you. And that's it. Now let's go on to Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius, you have the moon in the 2nd house, the sun in the 8th house. You have Neptune with the moon, and you have Mars with the sun. This means that in the 2nd house, you're going to be looking at streams of income and your values and resources and talents. So you may be discovering talents and resources that you did not realize you had. They may have been hidden until now, and they may be coming to the surface. So that's something to ask about in your full moon work, as well as, you know, what kinds of talents and gifts am I ignoring that I could really use in my everyday life to bring in more income, or just to have more satisfaction in my life. So take a look at that. I will guarantee you that these talents have a lot to do with clairvoyant abilities like clairsentience, claircognizance, clairvoyance, clairaudience. They could also have to do with water things, dowsing, scrying with water, making things with liquids, like making washes, lotions, oils, sprays. You may have just an intuitive sense of how to make those things. And in the 8th house with Mars and the sun, you're looking at you and your partner's resources, and you're going to make it your project to sort of revamp that whole area of your life. Now, Mars and the sun in the 8th house. The 8th house, you know, also, it's not just your partners and your resources. It can also be all the metaphysical realm, all the things that are hidden, big money things sometimes is there. That's the joint resources. But looking at metaphysical issues and doing this full moon work and understanding that the talents that you're tapping into for income streams may have to do with clairvoyant abilities, realize that all the metaphysical stuff that you're interested in may also spark you to do some big project all by yourself that has to do with your metaphysical abilities or with your metaphysical teachings. Like you may be creating a whole workshop or course that you can teach that would ultimately then you would sell to people as you taught it, that would bring in income. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here about things that might happen. But things in the 8th house have to do with the occult and metaphysical things. It also has to do with things that are taboo that people don't talk about a lot. Has to do with your partner's resources, you and your partner's resources. Has to do with big money in your life, things like mortgages, home equity loans, investments, mutual funds, trusts, and wills and things like that, inheritance. So you will be involved in something with that, Aquarius, and Moon and Neptune in Pisces is really going to be influencing those decisions if you're going to work on it on the full moon, and that's what this is all about, so I'm assuming you are. All right. I think we've covered all of the signs. Usually I manage to get through all 12 of the signs. Don't forget, I put out some little teaser videos that give you the instructions for all the giveaways that are going on this month. Good luck to everybody. I wish everyone luck. I wish you could all win. I would give you all readings. But in the meantime, I'm just going to say thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.